Most people think the answer to financial stress is earning more money. But if that was the answer, then why do people with the same income have totally different financial outcomes in their lives? The actual most important things is how do people handle their money when it comes in each payday. In this video, we're going to be talking about 4 things that you can do that maximize your pay as it comes in to pay down debt, grow your investments, and automate your financial life. So accelerator number 1 that we can use is paying your future self first. And there's probably going to be 2 goals you have with any extra dollars that you have when they come into your account. One of these is going to be funding your emergency account. If you don't have 3 to 6 months of emergency savings saved up in a savings account that you can access 24/7, that would be your first goal. If you have that already set up, then another thing you can do is pay yourself first by investing into low-cost index funds. Another thing that should be automatic is employer matches. If you have an employer match scheme at your work, in New Zealand this is called KiwiSaver, you should absolutely be maximizing that because it's basically a 100% return on your investment. Now, even if you don't have a lot of excess cash, if you're 20 years old and you had 45 years to invest into the S&P 500, and we're going to assume an 8% annual return over these 45 years, and we're going to put $400 a month in, just a little bit less than $100 a week. In 45 years time, this is going to be $1.92 million just by doing this little weekly payment that goes out every single week, every single time you get paid. Even if you're in an older stage of life and you have less time to invest, you have a lower horizon ahead, even putting a little bit more money, you can still achieve these same results. So please do your emergency fund and then make sure you're investing some money, whether this is in low-cost index funds or if you're at a point where you want to invest in real estate, whatever it is, please make sure you're investing some money from as early as possible. Accelerator number 2 is paying down high interest debt. And this is arguably something you should be doing before investing in index funds if you have any debts that are over a 10% interest rate. And the reason for that is because the interest rate obviously that you're paying there is going to be on average higher than what you get in any share market really, and it's also guaranteed what that return is. And just like how investments snowball over time exponentially, the same thing happens with debt. The earlier you can attack it, the less interest exponentially you're going to pay on that loan. And there's 2 methods you can think about on what debts to pay off first if you have multiple debts. And the first one's called the avalanche method. This is mathematically the best way of doing this, and you're essentially paying the minimum on all your loans but paying off any extra payments to your highest interest rate loan. That's going to save you the most amount of interest over all your paying off period of all your loans. Now, this requires some discipline. It's not always the most fun way of doing it, but mathematically this is the best way of doing it. Dave Ramsey offers a different solution, which is called the snowball method. And what this means is just paying down the smallest loan that you have, paying it off, using that funds you're using on that loan to pay off another loan, and then going from one loan to another, smallest to largest, regardless of interest rates. However, as I said before, financially, the best way to do it, if you have some discipline, is just focusing on whatever the highest interest loan is first. Accelerator number 3 is automating all the boring stuff. And what this looks like is making sure all your bills that come out on a regular payment go out automatically. You don't want any letters in the mail where you have to pay your bills anymore. Make sure your council rates go automatically, your insurance goes out automatically. You want all this to be automated. And another thing we could automate is what we'd call sinking funds. And basically this is just separate bank accounts. What people used to use envelopes for certain funds. So this could be for groceries, this can be for insurance if you're paying annually, this can be for car maintenance, just putting some money aside, just set aside for any time something like that comes up. Accelerator 4 is called the raise rule. Basically what this means is any time you see a regular increase to your income, basically when you get paid, you should be putting a portion of this to either increase your savings amount, either increase the amount you're paying off debt with. So if you were to get an extra $100 per week, why not put $50, $60 on that to pay off your debts faster or increase your savings faster as well? And the best thing is if you can do this straight away as soon as you receive that pay rise, you don't need to wait until you see any sort of increase in lifestyle. That can just happen straight away. You still get some extra money for your lifestyle that you can spend on things you like, but you're also progressing towards your financial goals faster. And just like that example where I said if you put $400 a month into your investments from 20 years old, you'll end up with $1.92 million. Well, what if we made that $450 a month? That's just going to be that much more, or you're going to pay off your debts just that many few years earlier than you already were, or you're going to become mortgage free a few years earlier. Just anytime you get a pay rise, make sure and that's actually one of the ways you can help the lifestyle creep in the future to make sure your lifestyle isn't increasing faster than your savings and investments. So anyway, that's my 4-step process to automating your paycheck every time you get paid, to increase your savings, to pay down debt, and to automate your finances. If you found this video helpful, please leave a comment down below. Let me know what you learned, and thank you so much for watching. See ya.